My theory is that like on
oh shit,
on a higher like if you were a higher being looking at us, but not us like our physical forms, but at our higher selves, you know, on a higher plane, because you do exist as a higher self on a higher plane. You just can't perceive it.
Okay.
So a higher being can perceive that. You know what I mean? All your wavelengths, all your energies, your past, present, your future, all that shit, right?
Okay.
And it's all it's all like fucking like a giant kaleidoscope, right? And you can see all these different events and shit, right? They essentially, what my theory is that they look at us like we're crystals. We're essentially carbon crystals that have the light traveling in and out of us through different areas. So we have the light coming into us from the earth. We have the light coming down to us from the sun and all the other stars and all this shit. And you're literally just a crystal that lights up different colors. You know what I mean? Whenever these different emotions and these different experiences, these things go through you. You know what I mean? And then so you're just a crystal hovering, dog. Because if you they've already explained that there is an infinite amount of space in between my two fingers fucking touching. That means that they're not touching, bro. That means my feet are not touching the fucking floor, dog. That means I'm hovering.
Yeah, low-key, there's a lot of truth in it. I heard that if you take your fingers and you go through a table like this, if you do that for enough lifetimes, you will split the table. Because they're all like, there's a lot of space in between the particles and the atoms and stuff.
It's an infinite amount of space.
But just to build off in the crystal thing, I think right now we're forming crystals. We're more of like a fluid crystals, and we don't crystallize and like become solid and leave our imprint until we die. You know what I mean? So how you're living right now is you forming what kind of crystal you're going to imprint to vibrate to the next side. So like pre that, the lower vibration being you're more crystalline cells trying to crystallize into what kind of genetic human meat body you're going to get.
Yes,
and
sir.
And then in this form, you're kind of molding your spiritual imprint to the next form. You know what I mean? And it kind of goes into reincarnation and shit, right?
Imagine fucking doing all that and then you form as a crystal meth.
You're light, and then
bro, the heart is the first organ to form in your body. Like, so when you're developing as a cell and as a fetus, your heart is the first organ. So as far as your soul, whatever crystallization whenever you imprint, it's your heart. And what's your heart do? You get a heartbeat, right? Which is your rhythm, essentially.
Crazy.
So it's fucking crazy, bro.
Crazy. Yeah,
that's fucking nuts.
For sure. You just blew my mind with that. Because it's all connected. Because as soon as the energy taps in, boom, you do have your heart and your soul, your spirit manifests. So the energy comes down, boom, the spirit comes down, hits the fucking matter. You know, it warps the matter because of its presence hitting the spatial waves. There's like curving space and shit, waving all this shit. And then all this stuff waves around and then manifests around you. You become this meat sack. But you're not even a meat sack. You're a miasmic being. You're made of essentially dust particles. You're a dust cloud that's being held by a semi-permeable membrane. You know, and you're electrically charged. You have a network of fluid that's going through you. That fluid is particularly pH'd, you know, and that fluid travels through the different organs that have their different, and so they even have theories that, you know, your organs were actually cells that developed and then came together and became, you know,